I was in labor with our first child when our smart home camera sent me a notification that changed everything. My husband had no idea I could see what he was doing. I'm writing this from a hospital room while my newborn daughter sleeps in the bassinet next to me. She's beautiful, perfect, and she's never going to meet her father. Let me tell you why. 48 hours ago, I was getting ready to give birth to our first child. I'd been in labor for 6 hours. The contractions were coming fast and hard, and I was terrified and excited and overwhelmed all at once. My husband Jake had just stepped out to make some quick phone calls and grab me something from the cafeteria. That's when my phone buzzed with a notification from our Ring doorbell camera. The one Jake insisted we install 6 months ago for security purposes when I was 7 months pregnant. The notification said, "Motion detected at front door." I almost ignored it. I was in labor, for God's sake. But something made me open the app. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was the fact that Jake had been acting strange for the past few weeks. Or maybe it was just dumb luck. What I saw on that camera feed destroyed my entire world. And it wasn't even the worst part. Let me back up and tell you about Jake and me. We met 7 years ago at a mutual friend's wedding. He was the groom's college roommate. I was the bride's coworker. We sat next to each other at the reception, and by the end of the night, we'd exchanged numbers. 3 years later, we got married. It was a small ceremony, just close family and friends, at a vineyard in Napa. Jake works in finance. Investment banking, specifically. He makes good money, really good money, and he's ambitious. He works long hours, travels for business occasionally, and he's always on his phone. But I never minded. I'm a graphic designer and I work from home, so I have flexibility. We balanced each other out. When I got pregnant last year, Jake was thrilled. He immediately started planning the nursery, researching the best strollers and car seats, reading parenting books. He told everyone we met that he was going to be a dad. He seemed genuinely excited. But looking back now, I can see the signs I missed. The way he started coming home later than usual. The way he'd take his phone with him everywhere, even to the bathroom. The way he'd get defensive when I asked who he was texting. I chalked it up to work stress. I told myself he was just dealing with a difficult client or a demanding boss. I didn't want to be that wife, the suspicious, nagging one who doesn't trust her husband. I should have been that wife. The day everything changed. So let's fast forward to 2 days ago. Tuesday, 4:37 p.m. I'd been having contractions since 10 a.m. They started mild, just uncomfortable pressure, but by 2 p.m. they were strong enough that I called Jake at work. He rushed home, helped me grab the hospital bag we'd packed weeks ago, and drove me to the hospital. We checked in at 3:15 p.m. The nurses got me settled in a delivery room, hooked me up to monitors, checked my dilation. I was at 4 centimeters. The doctor said it could be a few more hours, maybe longer. First babies take their time. Jake was great at first. He held my hand through contractions, reminded me to breathe, told me I was doing amazing. But around 4:30 p.m., he started getting antsy. He kept checking his phone. He kept glancing at the door. Finally, he said, "Babe, I need to make a few work calls. There's this deal closing, and my team needs some guidance. And you said you wanted snacks from the cafeteria, right? I'll grab those too. I'll be quick, I promise." I was annoyed, but I understood. Or I thought I did. "Okay," I said. "But be quick. I don't want you to miss anything." He kissed my forehead. "I won't. Love you." "Love you too." He left. And that's when my phone buzzed. The notification. Motion detected at front door. Our house is 20 minutes from the hospital. There's no reason anyone should be at our door right now. Everyone knows I'm in labor. Our families are either on their way to the hospital or waiting for updates. I opened the Ring app, half expecting to see a delivery driver or maybe a neighbor checking on the house. But what I saw made my blood run cold. It was Jake, standing on our front porch, with a woman, not just any woman. I recognized her immediately. Melissa, my best friend since college, my maid of honor, the godmother-to-be of my unborn child. They weren't just standing there. They were kissing. His hands were on her waist. Her arms were around his neck. And then Jake unlocked our front door, our home, the home where I'd been nesting for months, where the nursery was painted and ready, and they went inside. I stared at my phone screen. A contraction hit, but I barely felt it. My brain couldn't process what I was seeing. The Ring camera only covers the front door and porch, but we have interior cameras too. Jake installed them throughout the house, living room, kitchen, hallway. He said it was for security, to check on things while we were away, to have evidence if we ever got broken into. I'd thought it was overkill. Now I realized it was my lifeline. I opened the app for our interior cameras. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped my phone. Living room camera, Jake and Melissa on our couch. His hand was under her shirt. I switched cameras. Kitchen camera, empty. Hallway camera, they were walking toward the bedroom. Our bedroom. The bedroom where I'd spent the last month having terrible pregnancy insomnia, where I'd been too uncomfortable to do anything but lie on my side surrounded by pillows. I couldn't check the bedroom because we didn't have a camera in there. But I didn't need to. I knew exactly what was happening. My husband had left me, in labor, about to give birth to his child, to go home and sleep with my best friend. I sat there in that hospital bed, still hooked up to monitors, still having contractions every 5 minutes, and I had to make a choice. I could call him, scream at him, demand he come back, make a scene, or I could stay silent, let him think I didn't know, and plan my next move carefully. Another contraction hit. This one was strong enough that I gasped. A nurse came in to check on me. "How are we doing?" she asked, checking the monitors. "Fine," I lied, just breathing through them. "You're doing great. You're at 6 centimeters now. Moving along nicely. Where's your husband? He went to make some work calls. He'll be back soon." She nodded and left. I looked back at my phone. I opened the Ring app again. I started recording. Every camera. Every angle. I saved everything to the cloud. Then I did something I'm not proud of, but I don't regret. I opened Jake's location sharing. We'd set it up when I got pregnant, just in case of emergencies. He could track me, I could track him. His location showed he was at home. I took a screenshot. Then I opened our text thread and typed, "Hey babe, contractions are getting stronger. How long are you going to be?" I watched the 3 dots appear immediately. He was on his phone. Of course he was. "So sorry baby, this call is running long. Grabbing your snacks now. Be there in 20. Another screenshot. I looked at the timestamp. He'd been gone for 37 minutes. Assuming 10 minutes to drive home, that gave him at least 27 minutes there. More than enough time. 20 minutes later, Jake walked back into my hospital room carrying a bag from the cafeteria. He was slightly out of breath. His hair was messed up. His shirt was wrinkled. "Hey babe," he said, kissing my cheek. "Sorry that took so long." They're slammed downstairs. I looked at him. Really looked at him. This man who I'd loved for 7 years. This man who I'd married. This man whose child I was currently in labor with. And I smiled. "It's okay. I'm just glad you're back." The birth. 3 hours later, at 8:03 p.m., I gave birth to a baby girl. 7 pounds 4 ounces. 20 inches long. A full head of dark hair and her father's nose. Jake cried when they put her on my chest. He kept saying, "She's perfect. You're perfect. I love you so much." I held my daughter and I felt 2 things simultaneously. Overwhelming love for her and complete detachment from him. The nurses took her to clean her up and do all the newborn checks. Jake followed them, taking pictures, calling our parents, texting everyone he knew. I lay there in the hospital bed, exhausted and numb, and I pulled out my phone. I went through every single video I'd saved from the cameras. I watched them again. I made sure they were all backed up to multiple cloud accounts that Jake didn't have access to. Then I texted my lawyer. Yes, I have a lawyer. I'm not stupid. When Jake's behavior started changing a few months ago, when he started being secretive with his phone, when he started working late more often, I consulted with a divorce attorney. Just in case. Just to know my options. Her name is Rebecca Stern, and she's the best family law attorney in the state. She told me to document everything. To be smart. to gather evidence before making any moves. I'd thought I was being paranoid. Turns out I was being prepared. Rebecca, I texted. It happened. I have video evidence. He was with my best friend while I was in labor. I'm ready to file. She responded within 5 minutes. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? We'll talk details when you're ready. Focus on you and the baby right now. But yes, we'll file. This is unconscionable. Jake came back into the room holding our daughter, oblivious. Babe, she's perfect. Everyone's so excited. My parents are driving up tomorrow. Your mom is catching a flight tonight. This is the best day of my life. I took my daughter from him. I looked down at her tiny face, and I made a promise to her silently. You will never grow up watching your mother accept betrayal. You will never learn that this is what love looks like. I'm tired, I told Jake. Can you go home and get some rest? Come back in the morning. He looked relieved. Are you sure? I can stay if you want. I'm sure. The nurses said they're going to keep us here for at least 48 hours anyway. You should sleep in a real bed while you can. He kissed my forehead, then the baby's. Okay. I love you. Both of you. So much. I know, I said. Not I love you too. Just I know. He didn't even notice. The confrontation, sort of. The next morning, Jake came back to the hospital at 9 a.m. with coffee and bagels. He looked well-rested. Happy. He held our daughter while I ate breakfast, told me about how he'd called more friends and family, how everyone was sending gifts. Oh, and Melissa texted, he said casually. She wants to come visit later. Is that okay? I nearly choked on my bagel. Melissa? Yeah, she's been asking about the baby. She's excited to meet her goddaughter. The audacity. The absolute audacity. Actually, I said, keeping my voice level. I don't think I'm up for visitors yet. Besides immediate family. He frowned. Really? But it's Melissa. She's practically family. I said no visitors. Something in my tone must have registered because he backed off. Okay. No problem. I'll tell her to wait a few days. He stayed until noon, then said he needed to go home and shower, maybe catch up on some work emails. I told him to take his time. The moment he left, I called Rebecca.
The plan.
Rebecca arrived at the hospital that afternoon. She came in dressed casually, jeans and a sweater, so the nurses wouldn't think anything of it. Just a friend visiting. But she had a briefcase. And in that briefcase were divorce papers. We sat in my hospital room while my daughter slept, and Rebecca laid out my options. The videos you have are damning, she said. Him leaving you during labor to be with another woman, and not just any woman, but your best friend, demonstrates extreme emotional cruelty. In this state, we can use that to argue for fault-based divorce. What does that mean for me? It means you're in an excellent position. Custody won't be an issue. You're breastfeeding, you're the primary parent, and his behavior shows poor judgment. Financially, given his income and the circumstances, you'll likely get a favorable settlement. The house, child support, possibly spousal support depending on how the judge sees it. And the videos? They're legal? You own the cameras jointly. They're in your shared home. Completely legal. He can't claim expectation of privacy in common areas of a house he co-owns. I nodded, processing. When do we file? Whenever you're ready. We can do it today if you want, or we can wait until you're home from the hospital. My recommendation? Wait until you're home and settled.
Get your support system in place.
Then we serve him. What about Melissa? Rebecca's expression hardened. She's not party to your divorce, obviously. But I'd recommend cutting all contact. Block her. Don't engage. She'll try to reach out, try to explain or apologize. Don't give her the satisfaction. Her husband needs to know. That's your choice. But be careful. Don't do anything that could be construed as harassment or revenge. If you tell her husband, do it factually with evidence and then step back. I thought about David, Melissa's husband of 4 years. A sweet guy, a pediatric nurse. He'd been at our wedding. We'd had dinner with them just last month. He deserved to know. Just like I deserve to know. I'll tell him, I said. But not yet. First, I need to handle Jake. I was discharged from the hospital Thursday afternoon, 48 hours after giving birth. Jake picked us up, all smiles and excitement. He'd installed the car seat, brought extra blankets, made sure everything was perfect. He drove us home carefully, one hand on the wheel, the other reaching back occasionally to check on the baby. "I'm so glad you're both coming home," he said. "I've missed you. You were with me yesterday, I thought." But I said nothing. When we got home, I noticed Jake had cleaned. The house was spotless. There were flowers in the kitchen, roses, my favorite. A "Welcome home, baby" banner hung in the living room. I wondered if Melissa had been in this house since Tuesday. If she'd been here while I was in the hospital. If they'd celebrated the birth of his child together. Jake carried the car seat inside while I grabbed the hospital bags. He set our daughter down gently, then turned to me. "I'm going to be the best dad," he said. "I promise. I'm going to do everything right." I looked at him. This man who had lied to me, who had betrayed me at my most vulnerable moment, who thought he could have it all. The wife, the baby, the mistress, the perfect life. "I know you will," I said, "for the time you have with her." He laughed, not understanding. "What do you mean, the time I have? I'm not going anywhere." "We'll see," I said. The reveal. I waited 3 days. 3 days of Jake playing devoted father and husband. 3 days of him getting up for middle-of-the-night diaper changes, bringing me water while I breastfed, taking 1,000 pictures of our daughter. 3 days of Melissa texting me constantly. "Can I come meet her yet? I bought the cutest outfit. I miss you. Can we talk?" I didn't respond to any of them. On Saturday morning, Jake's parents came to visit. Then my mom arrived. We had a house full of people cooing over the baby, bringing meals, offering to help with laundry. At 4 p.m., everyone left. Jake was in a great mood, talking about what a wonderful family we have, how lucky our daughter is. "Jake," I said, "we need to talk." He smiled, oblivious. "Sure, what's up?" I pulled out my iPad. I'd loaded all the videos onto it. I pressed play on the first one, the Ring doorbell footage from Tuesday. Jake's face went white as he watched himself kiss Melissa on our front porch. "Babe, I can explain." "Don't." My voice was cold.
"Come.
Just watch." I played the next video. The living room camera. Then the hallway camera. "You left me," I said, "while I was in labor with your child. You left me to go fuck my best friend in our house." It's not what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like. I have timestamps. I have your location data. I have text messages where you lied about where you were. He started crying. Actual tears. "Please, I made a mistake. It didn't mean anything. I love you. I love our daughter. Please don't do this." "Don't do what?" I asked. "I haven't done anything yet. Don't leave me. Don't take her away from me.
Please."
I'll end it with Melissa. I'll never see her again. I'll do anything." "How long?" "What? How long has it been going on?" He hesitated. That told me everything. 6 months, he finally admitted. "It started at your baby shower." My baby shower. The party Melissa had thrown for me. The party where all our friends and family celebrated our growing family. That's when it started. I laughed. I couldn't help it. It was so absurd, so cruel, that all I could do was laugh. "Get out," I said. "Babe, please."
"Get out."
"Pack a bag. Go to a hotel. I don't care where. But if you're still in this house in 30 minutes, I'm calling the police and telling them you're trespassing." "You can't do that. This is my house too. Try me." He stared at me, probably seeing me clearly for the first time in months. Not the pregnant wife he could manipulate. Not the woman in labor who needed him. But someone who was done with his bullshit. He packed a bag.
He left.
He called me 17 times that night. I didn't answer. The next day, I called David, Melissa's husband. "Hey," I said when he answered. "It's me. I need to tell you something, and I'm so sorry to be the one to tell you this." I sent him the videos. I explained everything. He was silent for a long time. Finally, he said, "I suspected something, but I didn't want to believe it. Thank you for telling me. He filed for divorce the next day. Monday morning, Jake was served with divorce papers at his office. Rebecca included the videos as evidence, along with a request for full physical custody with supervised visitation for Jake, the house, child support, and spousal support. His lawyer called Rebecca that afternoon, trying to negotiate. Rebecca told him we weren't negotiating. We were presenting facts. Melissa called me 31 times on Monday. She showed up at my house on Tuesday. I didn't answer the door. She left a letter. I threw it away without reading it. Jake's parents called me, crying, begging me to reconsider. I told them they were welcome to have a relationship with their granddaughter, but Jake and I were done. Jake's mother said I was being cruel, that everyone makes mistakes. I told her that leaving your wife during labor to cheat on her isn't a mistake. It's a choice. My mom, on the other hand, said she wanted to commit violence against Jake, but would settle for never speaking to him again. Where I am now, 2 weeks later. It's been 2 weeks since I kicked Jake out. 2 weeks since I filed for divorce. My daughter is healthy and beautiful. She eats well, sleeps relatively well, and has no idea that her father is a cheating piece of shit. I plan to keep it that way for as long as possible. Jake has been granted temporary supervised visitation. He can see her twice a week for 2 hours at a time with a court-appointed supervisor present. He hates it. He keeps begging me to let him see her at the house alone. I won't. Not because I think he'd hurt her physically, but because he's proven he can't be trusted. And until the court makes a final custody determination, I'm not taking any chances. The house is mine for now. Rebecca got an emergency order giving me exclusive possession until the divorce is finalized. Jake is staying at an extended stay hotel and hemorrhaging money. Financially, I'm okay. Jake has to pay temporary child support, and he's covering the mortgage and utilities. His lawyer keeps trying to paint me as vindictive, but Rebecca shuts it down every time with the videos. Melissa and David are also getting divorced. I heard through mutual friends that she's been telling people I overreacted, and that Jake and I had problems anyway. I don't care.
She's dead to me.
I've started going to therapy, twice a week. My therapist says I'm processing the trauma remarkably well, considering. She says I'm strong. I don't feel strong.
I feel numb most of the time.
But when I look at my daughter, I feel something.
Love.
Fierce, protective love. And determination that she'll grow up knowing her mother didn't settle for betrayal. The questions everyone asks. How did you stay so calm? I don't know. Adrenaline, maybe. Or maybe I just went into survival mode. I had a newborn to think about. I didn't have the luxury of falling apart. Do you regret having his baby? Never. Not for 1 second. My daughter is innocent in all of this. She's perfect. And she's mine. Will you ever forgive him?
No.
Some things are unforgivable. This is one of them. What about Melissa? What about her? She's not worth my time or energy. I hope she's happy with what she destroyed. 2 marriages, multiple families, lifelong friendships. All for an affair with a married man who lied to both of us. Did you know before? Were there other signs? Looking back, yes. There were signs. But I trusted him. I trusted her. That was my mistake. I won't make it again. What happens next? The divorce moves forward. We'll eventually go to trial if we can't settle, but Rebecca thinks Jake will cave. The evidence is too strong, and he can't afford to drag this out, both financially and reputationally. His company's HR department is aware of the situation because someone sent them the videos anonymously. It wasn't me, but I have my suspicions it was one of our mutual friends who was disgusted by what Jake did. There's talk of him being moved to a different office or even demoted because of the scandal.
Good.
As for me, I'm taking it one day at a time. Some days are harder than others. Some days I'm angry. Some days I'm sad. Some days I'm just tired. But every day, I look at my daughter and I know I made the right choice. She deserves better than a father who would abandon her mother during labor. She deserves better than growing up in a house full of lies. And honestly,
so do I.
If you're reading this and you're in a similar situation, if you suspect your partner is cheating, if you feel like something is off, trust your gut. Document everything. Protect yourself. Don't let anyone tell you you're being paranoid or crazy. I almost convinced myself I was imagining things. I almost talked myself out of my suspicions because I didn't want to be that wife. But that smart home system Jake insisted we install to protect our family, it ended up protecting me from him.
So yeah.
Trust your gut. And always read the notifications. Update. 1 week later. A few developments. Jake's lawyer reached out with a settlement offer. He's willing to agree to joint custody, not supervised, split the house 50-50, and pay child support according to state guidelines. In exchange, he wants me to sign an NDA about the affair and remove the videos from all online platforms. Rebecca told him to go fuck himself. Not in those exact words, but close. Melissa lost her job. Turns out she worked in HR for a major corporation, and sleeping with someone's husband while they're in labor is apparently conduct unbecoming or whatever. She's blaming me for this. She sent me an email calling me vindictive and cruel. I forwarded it to my lawyer and blocked her email address. My daughter smiled at me for the first time today. It was probably gas, but I'm counting it. Best moment of this whole nightmare. Jake showed up at the house unannounced yesterday. I didn't let him in. He stood on the porch, yes, the same porch where I have video of him kissing Melissa, and yelled about how I'm poisoning our daughter against him by not letting him see her whenever he wants. A neighbor called the police. He now has a formal warning about harassment. Several of our mutual friends have reached out to say they're on my side. Apparently Jake has been going around trying to spin this like I'm the villain. It's not working. More updates as this disaster continues to unfold. Life is weird. But at least I have really good security cameras.